Hi everyone, my name is Rodrigo. I work here in Brazil in a Brazilian business intelligence company called DR Transformação Digital, and today I'm here to teaching you about Alteryx. If you are a beginner in this self BI software, so start to learn with me. This is the right video for you, right? Let's do it. Okay guys, firstly you need to install the Alteryx in your computer, right? I don't know if you have Alteryx already, so if you don't have, just go to the website alteryx.com and then you can just click in the bottom of free trial, and then you click in this Alteryx designer trial. After that, after download the Alteryx, okay, just click in this button, download now. So go to the website and then download it, the Alteryx, okay? After you do that, this icon, okay, download and install this and install in your computer. This icon here, it's appear in your desktop, and then you just did the double click here, okay? I will double click it. The Alteryx open this window, and this is the Alteryx designer where everything starts, right? So don't worry about that window. It's just a problem of credentials here. I have to fix it, but don't worry about it. In your case, it just appeared this Alteryx, right? So in this window, you will start your job, right? So firstly, you have an idea what Alteryx does? Yes or no? If your answer is no, I will show you. So Alteryx is like a automation data software, which means that in Alteryx you can just transform your data, you can just connect with a multiple kind of source of or databases, you can just transform and explore and data mining that, and then you can just load the results in a new database, a new data set, or also you can just plug the result with a data v software, which means Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, and anything like that, right? So here we will just build our workflow out, our data transformation. That's the idea of Alteryx, okay? When you open the Alteryx, this window show you 4 parts. The first part above all, in the header of the page, you can see, okay, the message like window, office softwares, and any software that you use. So here in file, you can just save your project, open new project, put this project in the server if you have, or anything like that. In edit, you can just copy and paste, but we use that with keyboard, so it's easier than just click here in the edit page. So you can just view. This is a part where you can configure the things that show you in the window. So you can just click in the view, and then, for example, click here, and then the section of results just disappear. And I'm click here and click again, the results appear again, right? So the options I will show you later about it. So you can just run your workflow, manage your licensing, or advanced options. So here is the page where you can just configure deeper settings in your job, right? In your Alteryx, okay? And help, okay, help is help. I don't want to explain that for you, right? So below these sections, you have these ones, these categories or sections as well. This is the sections and categories. That means you can just choose, and after you choose the section, you have some tools over here that you can use to do something in your job. I told you that Alteryx works like an automation data software, right? So if you can transform a software like, okay, I want to do a filter in my data set. So if I want to do a filter, I'm go to this section, preparation, and then I can find the tool, filter. This tool will do the job of filter my database. So which action that you do in your workflow, you will need to choose one specific tool to do that, right? So this is the first part of our window in Alteryx. So we need to use these sections to choose the tools and then work in our workflow. So do the job in our workflow, the transformations. But okay, firstly, in the first time, you have no idea which tools we have in these all sections over here, right? So you can choose this search part over here, and then, for example, I want to do a filter. I can just write filter over here, and I can see the tools that combine, that has match with the expression that I wrote over here. Okay, so I wrote filter over here. I can see the filter tools. Okay, so this is the first part, the tools, and then the sections of tools, the categories of tools, right? So here you can see the configuration part of your job, of your workflow, right? In this blank part, we call that canvas, which means that this is the part where you will build your workflow. You will drag and drop the tools and configure the tools and build all steps that you need to transform your data set, right? So let's do this together. For example, I will start a new workflow. To start a new workflow, I need to do an input data, right? So I have a data set, could be in Oracle database or Amazon database or Azure database, or even an Excel file. So I will start with an Excel, basic Excel, right? So I can just if I have no idea how Alteryx works, but I have an idea, I need to input the data. So I can go to this part, in the search part, and just write input, for example, and a tool that combined with my idea just appear like that, input data. Oh, input data. Okay, what input data does? I can just click in this example button. After that, Alteryx show us a new page, a new window, and in this window we can see the type of use of input data tool and how input data works. So this is good for you if you are beginner and have no idea what these two works. So if you have no idea, you just use the search part and then click in the bottom example, okay, and this part will appear over here, and you can just check anything that you wanted. So after I check, okay, I learned it. Oh, Excel file, I can use to input data from Excel file. Yes, so this is perfect for us. Okay, input data will work really good for us. So let's start our workflow with an Excel file. Let's do it together. Okay, I've already learned it, so I will close this window, go back to the new workflow 1 window. Always Alteryx call it new workflow 1, 2, 3. If you go in this plus symbol, you just click in the plus and new workflow will appear, which means that you have, like in this case, I have 4 jobs working in the same time in my Alteryx software. These softwares has no the same project. I have one and I have another one, 2, and the third one and the fourth one. Okay, I have 4 workflows. I don't have all of that combined. Each part of this workflow, it's one separately workflow, right? But I can just see all of them in the same window. Okay, so I will close this 3. I don't need that. So close and work only in the new workflow, right? So what we gonna do, we will start a project. I have an idea that my project will start with an input data. Okay, guys, your jobs in Alteryx will start ever with input data. Okay, don't forget it. Okay, input data is the fundamental tool for your job, right? So input data is here in the section in out, so I will click that and then choose the input data. Okay, input data. After that, I can just do one click. If you do one click, you can see that the input data just appear like magic in your Canva. If you do that in a wrong way, just click in the tool on Canvas and delete from with your keyboard, right? Or you can just click one time and open example. This one will works with the same of example that I showed you before, okay? Or you can just click, drag and drop the tool in the Canva. I told you that after we choose the tool, we need to configure the tool, right? So after choose the tool, so we will start with input data. We will just look to the left section here, the input data configuration, and then we can just click in this button, files, select a file, and then choose a file from your computer. So I use this one, Indicadores Econômicos in Portuguese, right? After choose the Excel file, I just click here, open button. Okay, and then Alteryx shows this window, which means that this Excel file has more than one sheet. So you can just choose which sheet you will work in your workflow, right? I will work with this one, the last one, Taxa Selic. So I just click that. I can just click in this sheet, and then I selected the sheet, and then I click in OK. Okay, now I click it in OK. The configurations run like that in the left sections. And here, guys, we can just do a lot of things with this Excel. But before that, I can show you another options of files that Alteryx enable us to choose. Like, okay, if you click in files, you can see Alteryx category, Avro, comma separated value, an archive, on file.csv. You can just select all of these kind of files, right? So here we have JSON file, IBM file, Excel, Access, and wherever. So also we can just select a data source. So in data source, we have like Adobe Analytics, Amazon Athena, Amazon Aurora, Amazon Redshift, Cassandra, Databricks, Google Analytics. So for example, Google BigQuery. So we have a lot of connections with data source. And also we have Gallery. Gallery is a server from Alteryx, and you can just put some database over there, and then you can just select with these gallery options. Okay, so here we have data sources and files, right? Okay, let's go back to the connection, the Excel connection. Okay, when I choose the file in my computer, the way of the path of this file just appear over here. Okay, the full path, right? And then I can just configure this connection. Record limit means that you can just select how many lines will appear in your project. For example, I wanna just 5 lines, for example. So I put the number 5 here. Here's the file format that you choose. I recommend to you that no change this file format here, right? If you wanna change, like, okay, oh my god, I choose Excel but it's CSV actually, so how can I just change? I recommend you that just click in this button, go back to file, select file, and then select the new one, and automatically Alteryx will just drop the path, right? So here we have the table or query, which means that this one is the selection of the sheet. We choose the sheet Taxa Selic, name it, right? And we can just click in this, the number 6 here. First row contain data. If you don't click in this flag over here, if you don't click in like blank, you don't click, below here we will choose, Alteryx automatically will select the file, select the sheet, and the first line will become the header of your data set, right? So if you don't choose this, if you choose this, if you flag here, the first line will become data. So Alteryx, you just put an header, a general header, like field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4, field 5, and whatever, right? So this is how this flag works, okay? And also in the first line we choose the how many lines will appear in our data set, right? I put 5. Okay, I will change here, I will put like 100. Okay, but here in the last option, the 7th one, we can choose which line we will start the data. So if I put here like 5, my project will start in the line 5. And below here we can just look a sample of our data set, right? So we have this data set with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns, and in this case only 100 lines because I choose 100 in the first option of configuration. But we have a preview of our data set, which means that we can just check and configure this input data based on these sample data over here, right? So after you configure your job, I will just put 1 in this line, you will click in this button, run workflow. So go to the run workflow and then play. A new section will appear just like this. This is a result section, right? So in this result section we can see how our job will work. Okay, so after you configure a new tool and then run, the new result will appear over here, and then you can check how your job is gonna be done. Okay, so here I can see the result of this configuration and this symbol, output symbol. When you use another tool, I will show you, you can see an input symbol or an output symbol. In the input symbol you will see how the data start in the tool, and then in the output how the data will finish in your tool, right? So the beginning and the end of your tool. So we have 2 connections in some tools, but in this case this tool is the first of our workflow, so we have only 1 symbol, the output symbol, right? And then you can just choose the symbol over here and then check the results. Okay, if we look this one, these results, we can see that our data is starting the line 5, right? These lines over here is just no data, so it's not good for us. So our project is starting the line 5. So I will go back to my configuration, put this option, start data import online. I will write 5, and after that I just need to click in the button run. I click it, and now I can see my project is starting in the line 5, right? When you do that, the Alteryx automatically just change the transformation, right? There's no problem for you. You can just, okay, oh, I do that, oh, I did something wrong. How can I go back to the first condition? Just go back to the configuration, change the configuration, and play run again. Okay, no problem. It's really, really easier. Now, guys, we have this input data, so our job starts. Okay, we have now an option to document our workflow. So we need to document our workflow, which means we need to change this information below here to an information that be more exactly, more specific for someone that will use this workflow after me. So something more understandable for everybody, right? So how we can just change this information over here? We can just click in the tool and then go to the configuration section, click in this third option, annotation here, and just change the words here. I will erase the phrase and I will put like this is the the beginning of my workflow. And then I just click out of this box and the annotation just changed, right? Okay, but I looked at, oh, beginnings, I wrote wrong, so I can change. Just click here, go back to the annotation, and just correct the information. Now, change it. Okay, this is one option to document your workflow. There is another option that's more, this option that I will show you, it's more like a pattern of your workflow. You can just document in a pattern way, which means that you can just put all of information in the same symbol, in the same square, like with a pattern, right? So this is a new tool. Okay, I will show you now. We have a new tool to do that, to document in this pattern way. The tool is called comment, and you can just choose the tool using the search part. Okay, just write comment, and then you can take the tool, drag here, and drop here. This is how this tool works. It's like a square, blank one. Okay, just click in the configuration, and here we can just write the phrase, the documentation. Okay, this is the beginning of my workflow. And also I can use the annotation to document other parts, which means the part, this is a general documentation, and here I can use it just to document the specific part of this tool, like okay, input data from taxa Selic, for example. So I have two parts of my documentation. Okay, also I can go back here and choose the shape of our rectangle, like rounded rectangle or not rounded, for example this. I will use the rounded. This is a design pattern now, right? Also, you can just change the font, clicking these 3 points over here, change the font, change the size of the font, like, okay, I will use like 14. And also you can change the text color. For example, I will choose the white color for the font. If I click outside, the configuration works. Okay, but I need to change the background over here, right? So go back to the background color, click in the 3 points. I will change to gray, for example. Click outside of the configuration, and then you can see. Okay, but now the word is too big. You can just change like this. Click with your mouse, just go back and then adjust with your interest. Okay, now we have two kinds of documentations in our workflows. So the comment or annotation. Okay, let's do it. Let's do one more thing here. Look, this first line. This first line has information that is not exactly datas. It's like a header, right? So my header is like F1, F2, F3, F4, and whatever. So I can use the first line with as header. How can I do that? I can just go to the search, and we can search for the tool called dynamic rename, this one. Okay, just take this, go to your workflow, and if you go close to the other tool, automatically Alteryx make a connection. But if you put like here and the connection didn't appear, you can just click in the output from one tool and go to the input of other tool, in this case dynamic rename, and we can just put dynamic rename here. And in the configuration of dynamic rename, in rename mode, we have this option formula. If you click in this list, we can just use the take field names from first row of data. Look that. Just take this option, and then you can just choose in each column this selection will works. I won't use in this one %AA and %AN, because this one is the correct name. I can just change in F1, F2, F3, and F4. So I select only these 4 fields, go to the run button, click and play, and now we have nothing over here. Oh my god, what's happened? Happened nothing, guys. Just go to the result parts and look here in the left side. We have more symbols. We have targets, that which means left input. We have right, that right input, but we use in this case we are using just one input, left one. And we have output symbol. If I click in the output symbol, I can see the change of my workflow, right? So now I can look up in input. We have this line and this kind of header, and in the output we have another header, right? So now is correct. I still have problems with some fields and I need to rename it, but we gonna do that in the next videos, not today, right? I want to show you one more tool. In this case, we have an input data, which means that work automatically. Each time that you play run, the Alteryx go to your data set, in this case this Excel file, and just get the data, like extract the data for your workflow. Okay, in each run that you do. Okay, I click run, Alteryx go to my Excel file and extract the data. Okay, if I change the data in my Excel file, Alteryx will change the data here when you click in the run. Okay, this is something automatic. This is the reason that Alteryx exists, automation of data, right? But we can just use like a manually data just to change something in our data set. Or for example, oh, I have I want to do a calendar list with months of the year and the year, for example. How can I do that without a connection with a database, with the calendar? I want to do something manually that I'm sure that I won't change this data set. How can I do that in the Alteryx workflow? We can just choose in out section this option, text input. This is another type of input where we can just write the informations here, and each run that we do, nothing happen with this information because it's static information, static data, right? So for example, I can click in text input, go to the configuration, and okay, my first column I will call it month. The second one I will put ID month, which means the number of the month, and here I will write the data, so January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, and now the ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, this is a static data. So I will use these data in my workflow to interact with my workflow, but I have no intention to change this data when I click in the run. So this is the idea of text input. Put something static in your workflow. Okay, now I can go to the annotation of this tool and just put here, okay, this is a calendar. Okay, the annotation will appear over here. This tool I use it to use first line as header. Okay, and now I have a beginning of my workflow. This is the beginning of my workflow, right? Okay, this is the part of input data in our workflow. So for today it's enough. If I change, okay, I worked today in the beginning of my workflow, I finished the job, but I wanted to continue tomorrow. How can I save this job? Just go to the file option over here, click in save as, browse option, and then just name it your project. For example, I will name it like Alteryx for beginners. Click and save. The station of Alteryx workflows is dot this sequence, right? Just click and save, and now the name of your workflow just changed. We will do another workflow. We will continue this workflow in the next classes, in the next videos, and I'll show you how our workflow works in the future, right? So let's go to my computer now. Just click here, Alteryx. This is how our workflow need to be, like this one. Okay, so we have input tools, we have preparation tools, parse tools, join tools, and then we can just go and output the data, right? So we will do this together in the next videos. So please don't forget to subscribe in our YouTube channel, share this project with someone that you know that need to learn more for the Alteryx, and we will be continue this video. Okay guys, so see you in the next video.